We're not going to be moving country roll call. Australia. Austria. Azerbaijan. Bangladesh. Barbados. 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 Strike it. Belgium. Bosnia. Brazil. China. Colombia. Ivory Coast. Cuba. Czech Republic. Korea. North Korea, excuse me. North Korea?
I said here.
Okay, appreciate it. Djibouti. Djibouti. Egypt. Estonia. Ethiopia. Fiji. France. Gabon. Georgia. Georgia. Germany. Ghana. Greece. Greece. Guatemala. Guatemala. Haiti. Honduras. Iceland. India. Iran. Ireland. Israel. Italy. Japan. Kabadi. Kuwait. Lebanon. There we go. Libya. Luxembourg. Mali. Mexico. Morocco. Nauru. Nepal. Netherlands. New Zealand. Pakistan. Papua New Guinea. Peru. Poland. Qatar. Republic of Korea. Russia. Rwanda. Saudi Arabia. Serbia. South Africa. South Sudan. Spain. Sudan. Switzerland. Syria. Togo. Turkey. Ukraine. UK. US. Uzbekistan. Vietnam. Yemen.
Did y'all do the American challenges?
Before we begin with the docket, I would like to make a few announcements. Computers, tablets, and phones are not allowed in plenary. Country research for plenary session will be in the back of the Sedona at the Nation of Information. Please hand in a completed research form if you have a question.
We'll now turn the mic over to Grant Barker.
Hello, everybody. I'm so excited for this plenary session. This is also going to be the first plenary session that the YMCA live streams. I just wanted to point that out for you guys. You can see this link over here. It's right on our website if you want to like take a picture of this, share it with a family member or something. But basics of it is you take this link, brings you to this page. That little camera on the tripod over there is managing it. And another note that I want to make of this live stream is that it is directly connected to our audio system. So if you hear something coming out over the speakers, it's going to be recorded in the live stream. And what that also means is it's going to be very important both for that and for the fact that you're going to want to be able to be heard by the entire assembly here. It's very important that you speak into a microphone when you are speaking during this plenary session. I just wanted to outline that. We're going to be having these two microphone stands set up for technical questions, and then during general debate, we're going to be having our state board members pass out these mics to you. I just wanted to emphasize that it's pretty important to get these when speaking. And with that, transfer it back to you.
Thank you. The docket is as follows. From security, from the topic Global Terrorism Recruiting Through Social Media, an amendment to the UN Charter, authors the US and the UK.
From ECOSOC, topic crisis. In Act 2, the Panama Canal becoming international territory. The authors are China and Colombia.
From GA, restriction of the press, to incentivize freedom of the press, authors Estonia and Peru.
From security, South China Sea, to restructure country resource limits in the South China Sea, authors United States and China.
From GA, topic weapons trafficking, to deter the arms trade, authors Estonia and Australia.
From ECOSOC, topic water scarcity, to alleviate water leakage through repairing damaged systems and aiding developing countries in expanding their water and sanitation services. Authors, Spain and New Zealand.
So in front of all of you are a packet of all the resolutions we will be debating this plenary session, and there are 2 quick changes to that packet. First, the third resolution, incentivizing freedom of the press, it says that the council is ECOSOC, but it's actually from GA. And second, the 5th resolution about the arms trade is actually the incorrect arms trade resolution. I'm so sorry to the authors of both those resolutions for that confusion. The alumni staff will be running off copies of the correct one and distributing them by the time we debate that resolution. Just a little disclaimer. And with that, we are going to go ahead and move straight into debate on the first resolution. If the authors will please approach the podium.
Do you want us to take these now with us?
I'm gonna walk if someone else who's parking. Vincent, and then Vincent or James. I don't care. One of you. So they all look up the questions and
We're just going from right here.
yeah, right here. Oh, and yes, we're sharing his mic, so we're gonna have to limit it a bit, go back up and down. Okay. Hey, wait, come on right here. Hey, where's the resolution?
I left it at the chair.
Wait, no, I need it.
I have it.
Wait, I need it.
Right here. Here, just set it right here.
Yeah. Will the clerk please read the resolution by title only?
An amendment to the UN Charter.
Authors, you will have 3 minutes for your opening statements. You may begin when ready.
In the course of history, strong nations that should be the leaders of the world have instead developed a habit of treating weak nations riddled with political unrest like a free-for-all for promoting their own personal gains. For this reason, our resolution proposes an amendment to the UN Charter of Human Rights to prevent countries from intervening for an unreasonable cause. These reasons include violation of human rights, deliberate military action, blatant interruption of international trade, and an unlawful spying upon other nations.
So a coup in Turkey is happening. Let's say that the Turkish people are violating the human rights of the Kurdish, and Iran would like to invade to reestablish political peace and stability in eastern Turkey. This resolution would require Iran to go through the Security Council to present evidence of human rights violations and then receive a specific decision from the United Nations to act or not.
So there might be a lot of questions about how long will this take. Some people might think that this is just another bureaucratic step, but in reality, at the most, it will take only less than a week. And because of growing internet infrastructure across the world, this process could take as little as 2 to 4 hours.
And we yield the remainder of our time to our closing statements.
Thank you. You have yielded 1 minute and 40 seconds. We will now move into the 3-minute technical question round. I would like to remind everyone that I would ask you all raise your placards at once. I will call on a large number of you, and please approach the 2 microphones in the front to ask questions. We will oscillate between one mic on one side and the other for question asking. Are there any questions at this time? I can't read your placard, but you. Cote d'Ivoire, Estonia, Lebanon, Gabon, Azerbaijan, Iran, Russia.
Go. Okay. What if countries who want to intervene ignore these rules and help these said countries without the approval from the Security Council?
They will be sanctions will be imposed as well as military restrictions.
Where did the number 1 week to 2 to 4 hours come from?
1 week is just a ballpark value. In reality, it would probably be like a case-by-case basis. And in times of crisis, the UN could expedite the process.
Delegates are reminded that no matter when you open your mouth in the session, you are required to state your name and delegation before speaking.
Lawrence Hagan, Lakeshore High School, representing the Democratic People's Republic of Korea. Will this resolution halt things such as the 2003 invasion of Iraq and the 2001 invasion of Afghanistan?
That is what it is meant to do.
Jane Wallace, McKinley High School, representing Gabon. Is there a standard of review to see which countries can intervene, or can any country intervene?
Any countries that are formal allies do not have to seek permission to intervene and help with a country that's their ally, but any other countries would have to seek permission from the Security Council.
Adam Muller, Mandeville High, Estonia. How does this resolution address the topic of global terrorism recruiting through social media?
That was a mistake. When we were writing the resolution on the computer, it regards the crisis, but that wasn't one of the options on the Excel spreadsheet, so I apologize for that.
Ricardo Salas, Haynes Academy, representing Russia. Let's say, like right now during the crisis, there's multiple nations having unrest in their countries. How would the council decide which countries give first aid?
This resolution doesn't pertain to aid. It only pertains to allowing intervention within those nations.
Oh, my bad. I read the resolution wrong. Thank you.
Shreya Rishimwala, St. Joseph's Academy, representing Lebanon. Is this council, is it the Security Council, or is it elected by United Nations? Is this a separate council?
It's Security Council.
Okay.
Manuel Molina, Jesuit High School, representing the Islamic Republic of Iran. Could you elaborate on what you mean by blatant interruption of international trade?
So an interruption of international trade on the scale of the takeover of the Panama Canal would likely constitute one of those threats to international trade.
Are there any other questions at this time? Libya, Peru, Japan, Nepal, USA, and Korea.
Claire DeCordy, Mandeville High, Peru. What factors will be used to determine if Security Council grants a country permission to intervene?
I'm sorry, can you clarify?
What will Security Council use to determine if a country can intervene or can't intervene?
Precedent, but also the reasons that we laid out, like the military action, the international trade, spying.
Morgan Ross, representing LSU Lab School and Japan. What would stop, as you said, an allied country could go in and use military intervention. What would stop an allied country then from going into a country because they don't even need permission to go in and completely taking over the country through military intervention?
Authors?
Well, we believe the sanctions and restrictions of the military would stop them from doing that.
That is time. We will now move into a 12-minute period of general debate on this resolution, starting with an oppositional speaker. Are there any such speakers on the floor? Pakistan.
Zakaria, representing Jesuit High, from Jesuit High School, representing Pakistan. While I admit that this resolution will justify the interventions, I cannot ensure that that the interventions will stop human rights violations. Opposition speaker. And for example, like if they take down a government that is committing human rights violations, they cannot ensure that the new government would also not be committing these same violations. Like look at Iraq. It's a perfect example of that militaries cannot recreate governments, stable governments. And furthermore, it's punishing for countries that intervene without the permission of the council might be punished for good intent. Suppose the government or the country needs to be dealing with immediately, will they still require the council's approval? Because what if it's a time crunch issue and we cannot ensure that the council will approve it in time to solve the actual issue? And with that, I yield my time to Nepal.
Jacob Zanka, Haynes Academy, representing Nepal. Would the author yield to a series of technical or non-technical questions?
Yes.
Thank you. How do you know that a council like the UN Security Council, in which one of 5 superpowers can immediately veto anything going through, will be unbiased on the issue of invading other countries?
Okay, you want to answer?
In general, we're just hoping that these superpowers do take into account the crises on the scale that might be happening in a country that requires intervention. So we just generally believe that veto power will not be an issue.
So is this resolution solely based on hope?
It's based on hope and reason. Usually the countries in the Security Council have a lot of reason and are very esteemed in their opinions. So
Thank you. I yield my time to the chair.
Thank you. With that, we'll seek a propositional speaker on this resolution. Are there any such speakers on the floor? Togo.
Jacob Rodriguez, Lakeshore High School, representing the country of Togo. As being part of the UN Security Council, we are in strong proposition to this, both when it came up in debate and now here in plenary. We believe that this is, in fact, meant to stop or help in the event of a crisis where a country is fighting in a rebellion against itself. This is not to completely condone military invasion of another country, rather to provide support to that country's government to help them out in the event of a crisis. With that, I yield my time to USA.
Alex Eli, Mandeville High, representing the United States of America. Will the authors go through a series of questions?
Yes.
What steps currently have to be taken before a country can intervene?
None whatsoever.
Okay. Well, with that, I stand in proposition of this resolution because this would prevent countries from intervening for their own self-interest, such as oil or any other unethical reasons. And with that, I yield my time to the chair.
Thank you. With that, we will now take an oppositional speaker on this resolution. Iran.
Manuel Molina, Jesuit High School, representing the Islamic Republic of Iran. We are in fierce opposition to this resolution. First of all, we believe it to be rather hypocritical that the two sponsor countries of this resolution, the United States and the United Kingdom, do engage in espionage against other countries. And in the last clause of Section 2 of the resolution, it says that military intervention by the Security Council would be taken for unlawful spying. I would also like to direct everyone's attention to the signatories of the resolution, Russia and Pakistan, two countries that engage in espionage against other nations also. We also believe that this resolution is overly interventionist, and we don't believe it's feasible for the UN to intervene in every country where such actions occur, since in the world, actions like interruption of international trade, deliberate military action occur frequently. I hate to say that, but it's true. And we don't believe that this resolution is feasible and able to be enacted. With that, I yield my time to Pakistan.
August Kurdia from Jesuit High School, representing Pakistan. To address a further delegate's response and proposition to the resolution, saying that it will stop countries from stealing oil and things like that sort. Well, the resolution doesn't exactly stop that. Well, a country may propose that they have good intent to intervene, and the council will give them permission. There's nothing stopping them from seizing oil and things of that sort. And with that, I yield my time to the chair.
Thank you. With that, I seek a propositional speaker on this resolution. France.
Bradley Burton, Lakeshore High School, representing the country of France. Here in the YMCA and in the Model United Nations, we promote responsibility. So why then would you vote down a resolution that promotes just that, responsibility? This resolution simply asks every country who wishes to intervene in another country's affairs to do it in a safe and responsible manner. We've seen what happens when a country intervenes irresponsibly. ISIS happens. One of the most terrible and devastating organizations in the modern world happens from irresponsible interventions. This isn't a way to stop countries from helping each other. This is a way to stop countries from helping each other destroy the world. And with that, I yield my time to Netherlands.
Ryan Kerrigan, Lakeshore High School, representing the Netherlands. In order to address a previous delegate's point that this resolution is overly interventionist, I believe that it is not. In fact, it is reining in international intervention that is not unnecessary. This is keeping intervention only in situations where it is absolutely necessary to promote the peace and stability of the world. This is keeping people from unnecessarily invading nations just to shove their own interests in because they think they can just, they want a democracy. Let's just go invade and give them a democracy because that's what people want. That doesn't work everywhere. And we believe that this is establishing the best system we can to ensure that nations get what they want and not what their neighbors want. And with that, I'll yield my time to the chair.
Thank you. With that, we seek an oppositional speaker to this resolution. Turkey.
Sami Amki, representing Jesuit High School, Turkey. Jesuit High School, representing Turkey. Will the author yield to a series of questions?
Yes.
What is the punishment from the United Nations if a country is deemed as being an aggressor and the country intervenes?
You mean if the country is denied intervention rights? And
As in if a country intervenes, say Russia, if Russia intervenes in another country, but it is deemed as taking advantage of its citizens and like, for example, taking oil, what would be the penalty for that? Would it be sanctions?
Yeah, sanctions and military restrictions.
So with that answer, and what was the second part, military? Can you repeat that second? What can you elaborate on military?
So the UN cannot actually restrict the military, but we would encourage Russia to do that, as well as the surrounding nations to implement sanctions.
So with that, I'd like to point out that the DPRK, for example, and Russia have withstood sanctions for years by multiple international organizations, including the UN, and still have strong military and economic presences. So I don't feel this is a lasting and permanent way to ensure that countries will not exploit countries they intervene in. Maybe they will still do it, like Iran getting sanctioned might still intervene a smaller country for its own benefit, even with the threat of sanctions that they already have learned to deal with. With that, I yield my time to Pakistan.
I'm Zakaria from Jesuit High School, representing Pakistan. To negate two propositional speakers, former propositional speakers, this resolution will not be promoting responsibility and will not be helping countries with the good intent. Because what's happening is it will only make sure.
I'm sorry, delegates, that is time. With that, we seek a final propositional speaker on this resolution. You have 20 seconds. China.
Ben Smith Kalakai, representing the People's Republic of China. This resolution will encourage nations to be responsible. It will encourage nations to work together to ensure that wars such as Iraq and Afghanistan do not happen again. This resolution ensures the sovereignty of other nations.
Thank you, thank you to the chamber for the lovely debate. And with that, we'll move into the author's 3-minute and 40-second closing statements.
So to clarify, somebody asked what specific factors would go into the discussion of intervention with the Security Council. Well, in the UN Charter of the UN Declaration of Human Rights, any kind of violation of Article 15, 19, and 20, Section 1, 2, and 2 respectively, would be under consideration. And in real life and in history, countries may be biased, but in reality, there is no denying people their basic human rights and liberties that everyone deserves, and that's granted by the UN. The UN's intentions are about securing safety and stability for all citizens, no matter who they are, no matter what country they're in, and we believe that this resolution helps address that. And the UN itself is not intervening, but we are simply preventing other countries from implementing more corruption and further destruction upon countries who are in shambles and who cannot protect themselves.
It is the foremost goal of the United Nations to secure and preserve the safety of the citizens of the world. Through the establishment of the UN Charter, nations will be able to morally and practically secure the safety of their own people and the people of the world.
So again, restating the issue of expediting the process. We simply do not believe that it is going to be a slow process. We believe that it can take as little as 2 to 4 hours in crisis situations, and at most less than a week.
Thank you for the debate, and we yield our time to the chair.
Thank you. With that, we'll move into a 1-minute country caucus. Begin.
Caucus call. Okay. I'm gonna borrow this. Okay. It's over now.
I know. I was like, everything's fine.
That one person that was asking questions while we were talking.
Delegates, that is time. We will now move into a roll call vote on this resolution. Australia. Yay. Austria. Yay. Azerbaijan. Nay. Bangladesh. Yay. Belgium. Yay. Brazil.
Abstain.
China.
Yay.
Cote d'Ivoire.
Abstain.
Cuba.
Abstain.
Czech Republic.
Yay.
Democratic People's Republic of Korea.
Nay.
Djibouti.
Abstain.
Egypt.
Yay.
Estonia.
Yay.
Ethiopia.
Yay.
Fiji.
Yay.
France.
Yay.
Gabon.
Yay.
Georgia. Germany. Ghana.
Abstain.
Thank you. Haiti. Honduras. Iceland.
Yay.
India.
Yay.
Iran. Ireland.
Yay.
Israel.
Yay.
Italy.
Yay.
Japan.
Abstain.
Kiribati.
Yay.
Kuwait.
Yay.
Lebanon.
Yay.
Libya.
Nay.
Luxembourg.
Yay.
Mali.
Nay.
Mexico.
Yay.
Morocco.
Yay.
Nauru.
Yay.
Nepal.
Yay.
Netherlands.
Yay.
New Zealand.
Yay.
Pakistan.
Nay.
Papua New Guinea.
Yay.
Peru.
Nay.
Poland.
Abstain.
Qatar.
Nay.
Republic of Korea.
Nay.
Russia.
Nay.
Rwanda.
Nay.
Saudi Arabia.
Yay.
Serbia.
Nay.
South Africa.
Yay.
South Sudan.
Yay.
Spain.
Yay.
Sudan.
Nay.
Switzerland.
Nay.
Syria.
Nay.
Togo.
Yay.
Turkey.
Yay.
Ukraine.
Yay.
United Kingdom.
Yay.
USA.
Yay.
Uzbekistan. Vietnam.
Nay.
Yemen.
Yay.
Colombia.
Yay.
By a vote of 33 to 24, this resolution does pass. Congratulations, all authors. Will the authors of the next resolution please approach the podium? Thank you. Yeah, I didn't want. Yeah, go. Yeah, go. Yeah, you can do what you want with it.
No, I'll let you talk first.
Second.
Okay. I'll leave this right here. First page.
Will the clerk please read the resolution by title only?
The Panama Canal becoming international territory.
Thank you. Authors, you will have 3 minutes for your opening statements. You may begin when ready.
Rohan Gilman, McKinley High School, representing Colombia.
Marshall Sandoval, Catholic High, representing the People's Republic of China.
So currently, during this crisis, political unrest in Colombia and Panama has led the FARC rebels to take control of the Panama Canal. This resolution establishes the Panama Canal as international territory so that no specific nation can claim ownership to the Panama Canal. So this would address the idea that if a situation came up in the future so that another country claimed the Panama Canal and stopped trade through the Panama Canal, this would not be possible because this resolution says that no country owns the Panama Canal because it is owned by all countries.
And then you might believe that, well, the Panama's main source of revenue in the country is through the Panama Canal. Well, I'll tell you that the Panama Canal pulls in $2.61 billion every year. And we believe by giving them a cut of this money, we can go ahead and bring it back up to where they'll have their current budget and maybe a little surplus of money because the trade's going to keep on increasing. In 2011, the turnover rate was 1.9%. And in 2015, it was 4%. And there's been a gradual increase. And the canal is becoming more and more important as more developing countries want more access from the Atlantic and Pacific. The Panama Canal is the only reasonable way to connect these two oceans without having to go around the whole of South America. And I believe by shutting this down, this is very crippling to the economies of all the nations here, and I believe it's in the best interest for everybody to agree that everybody owns it and everybody has fair access to it. And with that, we yield our time to our closing statements.
Thanks. Thank you, authors. You've yielded 54 seconds. We will now move into a 3-minute period of technical questions using the same process as earlier. North Korea, Mexico, Nepal, USA, Ethiopia, Turkey, China, Lebanon, Japan, Israel, Gabon, South Africa, Korea, Iran, Ghana, Bangladesh, I can't read that, but you, Iceland,
Russia,
and Russia. Go.
Untitled Chapter High School, representing the People's Democratic Republic of Korea. How does this resolution plan to remove the rebels who have forcibly occupied the canal?
This resolution doesn't address the current situation. It simply seeks to prevent further conflict so that this does not happen again and trade does not get crippled again.
Kennedy and Dara, Haynes Academy, the country of Israel. What country or would the UN be protecting the now international Panama Canal?
Right now, the international canal would be protected by the Panamanian government with help of UN peacekeepers if necessary.
Benjamin Bennett, Catholic High, representing the People's Republic of China. Will this require abolishing the Panamanian government?
No.
Matthew Gravois, McKinley Senior High, representing Gabon. Will the UN allow other international intervention from other countries against the FARC rebels once the Panama Canal has been declared international?
This resolution does not address the FARC rebels. This is simply designed to prevent further conflict.
Thank you.
Sarah Procopio, Baton Rouge High, representing Mexico. At what rate does Panama currently tax the ships going through the canal?
I do not have that information at this time.
Delegates and authors are reminded to keep their questions and answers short.
Laura Nicholson, St. Joseph's Academy, representing Bangladesh. So if it's international territory, how would laws be determined?
The way international territory works, it's most cases, it uses the laws of the land that's currently there. For example, the UN headquarters in New York is governed by USA law.
Maya Anderson, Middleville High, representing the country of Ethiopia. How much does it cost to maintain the Panama Canal?
I don't have that money right now. I mean, not the information. Oh, shoot.
Is the Manuel Molina, Jesuit High School, representing Iran. Has the Panamanian government consented to this resolution, or are they a signatory to this resolution?
They're not here.
Sami Yamki, Jesuit High School, representing Turkey. Are the authors open to an amendment that alleviates funding to the Panamanian people as monetary aid, since they pay for the canal's upkeep but only receive 1%?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nathan Gunn, man.
We did research yesterday, and we found that it would be better if this number was increased to 30%, and we encourage an amendment to be written for this purpose.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Morgan Ross, LSU Lab School representing Japan. How would this resolution prevent countries who already have embargoes on them from taking military action, taking over the Panama Canal?
Could you restate your question, please?
How would this resolution prevent countries who already have embargoes placed upon them, such as Russia, from taking military action and taking over the canal?
Like we said again, this isn't about taking over the canal. This is just
I'm
establishing
sorry, authors, that
international
is
territory.
time. We will now move into a 12-minute
that's the
period
best
of general
answer.
debate on this resolution, beginning with an oppositional speaker.
Wow.
Estonia.
Feeling the love it. No, Ben, do not.
Adam Moeller, Mandeville High, representing the country of Estonia. Now, Estonia stands in opposition to this resolution. While I applaud the author's intent in trying to alleviate the international tensions caused by conflict over the Panama Canal, I don't believe that it is fair for Colombia, which is where these rebel groups are coming from, to simply step in and declare that the canal, which is in Panama's territory, is now international waters, and that they only get 1% of the revenue, but they still have to pay for all of the upkeep. In addition, I don't really see this resolution as changing much of anything, because it's still in Panama's territory and they still have to pay for its upkeep and security fees. So with that, I would like to yield my time to
Begin speaking, please.
Carson Travis, Alexandria Senior High School, representing Sudan. Currently, it states that the canal will become international territory. But what would happen if other rebels or other nations came and decided that they were not going to follow this resolution, that it would no longer be international territory? What would you do then? Thank you. I yield my time to the chair.
Please bring the amendment forward.
Thank the Lord.
The amendment is deemed germane.
Friendly.
The amendment has been deemed friendly and is therefore added to the resolution. Will the clerk please read the amendment in its full text?
To increase the current 1% of revenue earned by trade to 30% of revenue earned in the canal.
Delegates are reminded that moving forward in debate, this amendment is part of the resolution. With that, we seek a propositional speaker. Kuwait.
Dalton Major Catholic High School, representing the state of Kuwait. In reference to what a previous delegate stated about how it is unfair for, it would be unfair for the people of Panama to have to maintain the cost of the canal. With the added amendment of the 30%, it does. We did the math. It does alleviate the process of that, and it gets them to the revenue that they had before the FARC came in and attacked. So it would you would have the same amount of revenue with the same amount of costs. There would be no more cost to Panama, and it would overall help the people of Panama become safe. And with that, I give my time to China.
Ben Smith, Catholic High, representing the People's Republic of China. This would add over an $850 million surplus to the existing Panamanian annual budget. This would mean tons more money going into the country to be able to support not only their own citizens, but also the upkeep of the canal. In addition to this, the Panama Canal, originally constructed by the United States, first attempted by France, it has been an international project since its first creation. It is only a natural step in the progress of the world that we make it an international trade zone and under the jurisdiction of the United Nations. If we want increased prosperity and increased peace in the world for generations to come, this is the resolution to ensure protected trade between the Atlantic and the Pacific for all the world's people. And with that, I yield my time to the chair.
Thank you. The chair now seeks to recognize an oppositional speaker, Germany.
Gavin Skipper, Jesuit High School, representing Germany.
Gavin Skipper, Jesuit High School, representing Germany. I fail to see where this plan solves the current problem we're having. A FARC, a paramilitary group, is in control of the Panama Canal. Sure, okay, we make it an international waterway. What does that do? That does nothing. That doesn't address the problem at hand. And also, you said that you will call on the Panama government to protect the waterway after this resolution passes. Why would you call on a country that is that doesn't have a control of a waterway to protect international waterway? It's not. It doesn't make sense for Panama, and it doesn't make sense. It doesn't solve the problem, and Germany is in complete opposition to this resolution. I now yield my time to Azerbaijan.
Reese Leonard, Jesuit High School, representing the country of Azerbaijan. A few things. First of all, this is clearly not fair to this country of Panama since they are not present and do not have a say in this. Secondly, it really does not do anything. It doesn't help the current problem at hand. Also, what's to stop a trading company, if they're being taxed 30% of their trade value, to go to a country to just not use the Panama Canal, to just go around it and find another way? With that, I yield my time to the chair.
Thank you. Quick note, delegates. When I recognize you to start speaking, please stand up and start speaking immediately. The state board member will bring the mic to you as soon as possible, but in the interest of time, please start speaking immediately. With that, I seek to recognize a propositional speaker on this resolution. South Africa.
As previous delegates have stated that this resolution does not do anything, it does do something. It protects our future. The Panama Canal is a huge trade route. It connects the Pacific and the Atlantic Ocean. That is huge. It is not easy to go around a continent. This is one of the biggest ways to trade. Also, that it would not do Panama any good. Or that it was unfair to Panama, or that countries would want to go around it because of the 30% tax. They were tariffed before. They already had to spend money to go through the canal. Also, it saves our future with trade. It protects our future with trade, even though it doesn't exactly address the conflict now. It addresses a conflict that may happen in the future. And while countries, this is a huge deal, and a country can survive while being embargoed. It is not an ideal situation. No country wants to be suffering embargoes. Why would they want that? Even if they are going to attack, it'll make them think twice. I yield my time to Israel.
Kennedy and Dara Haynes Academy, the country of Israel. This resolution solves not only a geopolitical conflict, but an economic one. The Panama Canal connects the Pacific Ocean to the Gulf of Mexico, east to west. A multitude of countries rely on this canal for their economic prosperity. Like the author said, without this canal, our economies would be crippled. I implore you, I beg you to vote yay on this resolution. I yield my time to the chair.
Thank you. With that, the chair seeks to recognize
We are in strong opposition of this resolution simply because it is an infringement on the rights of Panama and its citizens. And even with the 30%, of revenue earned, they still have to keep the upkeep. They still have to take care of the upkeep and manage the canal, and it's not fair to them. What gives us the right to just take over their land like that? And I yield my time to Iran.
As previous delegate stated, I don't think that this really addresses the problem of the rebels or any other organization that would try to take over the canal. There's presumably two parts that would prevent a group from doing this. One is by the UN peacekeepers defending the canal, as the Panamanian military has already failed to defend it. And so that would mean propping up the failed military with some kind of overwhelming force of UN peacekeepers, and there's no funds allocated in this proposition for that. So I think that that would, A, be a military overreach on the part of the UN, and B, not accounted for in the funding, so I don't even know if it would be possible. And the other way to control countries from trying to take over the canal would be an embargo placed upon them. But an embargo doesn't affect non-governmental groups like FARC that the embargo would not apply to anyway.
I'm sorry,
so
delegate, that is time. I now recognize a final propositional speaker on this resolution, Libya.
Addressing the previous delegate about how
Panama would have to pay for the upkeep. With giving them the 30% revenue and them having money back, we are providing funds for them to be able to pay for the upkeep of the Panama Canal. With that, I yield my time to the USA.
The point of information is not recognized. You may speak if you want to, as she has yielded her time to you. Thank you. As there are only 10 seconds remaining, I regretfully inform the delegates that the debate on this resolution has elapsed. With that, we'll move into the author's closing summations. You may begin when ready.
Reverend Gilman McKinley High School representing Colombia.
Marshall Sandoval, Catholic High representing China.
All right. So I want to address a few of the questions and comments brought up by delegates here. A previous delegate mentioned that this resolution does not do anything. This resolution does not aim to address the FARC rebels specifically. This resolution aims to implement a policy such that this conflict does not happen in the future, so that this blockade of international trade does not affect all of us in the future.
For those of y'all who said Panama won't get anything good and they have to keep upkeep, the way I did my math was that the Panama Canal made $2.61 billion in 2015. I took what their budget was for all their government expenses was in 2015, which was, I believe, $785 million. I divided that number and got 29.88%. That's the amount that would needed to be taxed to cover their entire budget if they tax the Panama Canal. By giving them 30%, those 0.22 gives them even more money. It's a surplus. They get more money. There's no reason why they would not want to do this because they're getting money. Also, if we make it an international territory, more ships are going to come through, so more money's going to come through. So they're going to get even more money. So they're really benefiting from this. As for military issues, we're an ECOSOC. We can't talk about military issues. So there's nothing we can do about that right now. That would have to go to Security Council, which it probably would be, but we can't do that right now. So,
in addition, a previous delegate stated that this is taking away Panama's territory. The only reason this comes into this resolution only comes into effect if the question of ownership is involved. The Panamanian government still has full control over the Panama Canal and still has all Panamanian laws still apply. The only thing is if another country claims the Panama Canal, then this resolution takes effect.
The whole issue began over the FARC rebels and Panama arguing who has ownership. In reality, we should all have ownership because it's our one link from east to west. And as for
authors, that is time. With that, we move into a 1-minute country caucus. Please begin.
Yeah, we're going to lose so bad.
Marshall, you and my red belt.
Yeah.
Yikes.
What? Colombia.
Not even there.
It's okay, bud. You win some, you lose some. I'm surprised nobody brought up the embargo.
Yeah, that's nice.
I think we made it clear that the peacekeepers, and I just told them we're from ECOSOC. We can't do anything about that. But at the end of the day, we gave it a good fight.
Yep.
You never know, it could go to a tie again.
It's like well, if it's a tie in here, then it does get it's super majority. Only ECOSOC and security is it like technically.
Yeah. We gave it a great run first month. I felt like we addressed everybody's issues pretty well.
I think so, but they're not going to listen anyway, so at least they're debating it.
I want to keep tally just for yokes. I think a couple of countries might actually pass on this when they come back.
It's just entirely like in the wrong.
Well, we won't be like completely. At least we won't have all nays because we've got 2 countries up here.
Colombia and China will say yay.
And Gabon and Mali and all the McKinley schools.
Belly up, go belly side up.
This is supposed to be an entirely different resolution. We told parties we have. And they told us they were going to run off the topic. Thank you. That is time on the country caucus. And with that, we'll move into our roll call vote. Australia. Australia, please repeat.
Nay.
Thank you. Austria.
Nay.
Azerbaijan.
Abstain.
Bangladesh.
Abstain.
Belgium.
Abstain.
Brazil.
Yay.
China.
Yay.
Cote d'Ivoire.
Abstain.
Cuba.
Nay.
Czech Republic.
Yay.
Democratic People's Republic of Korea.
Nay.
Djibouti.
Nay.
Egypt.
Nay.
Estonia.
Abstain.
Ethiopia.
Nay.
Fiji.
Nay.
France.
Yay.
Gabon.
Yay.
Georgia.
Abstain.
Germany.
Nay.
Ghana.
Nay.
Haiti.
Nay.
Honduras.
Nay.
Iceland.
Nay.
India.
Nay.
Iran.
Nay.
Ireland.
Nay.
Israel.
Yay.
Italy.
Nay.
Japan.
Abstain.
Kiribati.
Abstain.
Kuwait.
Yay.
Lebanon.
Yay.
Libya.
Yay.
Luxembourg.
Nay.
Mali.
Abstain.
Mexico.
Nay.
Morocco.
Abstain.
Nauru.
Nay.
Nepal.
Nay.
Netherlands.
Nay.
New Zealand.
Abstain.
Pakistan.
Nay.
Papua New Guinea.
Yeah.
Peru. Serbia.
Nay.
South Africa.
Yay.
South Sudan.
Abstain.
Spain.
Yay.
Sudan.
Abstain.
Switzerland.
Nay.
Syria.
Abstain.
Togo.
Abstain.
Turkey.
Nay.
Ukraine.
Nay.
United Kingdom.
Nay.
United States.
Nay.
Uzbekistan.
Yay.
Vietnam.
Abstain.
Yemen.
Yeah.
Colombia.
Yeah.
By a vote of 14 to 36, this resolution does fail. And with that, we'll be moving into our third resolution. If the authors would please approach the podium. Granted.
I got 5 and 6 reprinted.
Okay.
There was a mistake in 6.
That was wrong.
Yeah, and we reprinted them, and then I think that's right now.
Okay.
What we're going to do is make this one, and I think after 4,
okay.
I think we'll be fine on time.
I think we'll be fine on time.
Maybe after this one. This is right after.
Ready?
You ready, sir?
Yeah. He has some notes, so hopefully he doesn't first have like normally does.
Just like,
Okay.
there you go.
And you have a good too. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh damn, you wrote a bunch.
Yeah, that's gonna be my opening statement. So I'm gonna say all this, then I'm gonna explain it, then you're gonna segue into the report for that borders thing, and then I'm gonna talk about the funding, and then I'm gonna just like wrap it up if we have time left. If not, this can wait till the closing statement.
Okay. Cool. So after resolution 4, we're gonna pass it on.
All right, so it's got the amendment that continues it, and then I told Will and Nick to ask some specific questions.
Oh, Will didn't know anything.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I just gave him information. He's like, should I ask about corruption? I'm like, no.
No.
Don't
I
ask
told him
about
that's
corruption.
something else.
So he's like, okay, I'm gonna ask this about corruption. I'm like, no, don't ask about corruption unless someone brings it up.
Yeah. Don't.
And then he wrote it down, and I'm like, no, what are you doing? He's a frick.
Delegates, please maintain your seats. Delegates, please maintain
Yeah, there's a bunch of people that left the chamber.
Yeah, a ton. They're gonna come back in a minute.
Granted.
Well, if they don't hear the opening statements, then
They're gonna be pissed.
yeah.
If everyone is ready, we will begin. Will the clerk please read the resolution by title only?
Incentivize freedom of the press.
Thank you. Authors, you have 3 minutes for your opening statements. You may begin when ready.
Thank you. Freedom of speech is a fundamental human right and imperative to ensure that there's a free and fair government that benefits all of its people. While acknowledging the limited capacity of the United Nations to impose regulations upon its member states, we believe that it is time for the UN to take measures to promote the realization of this right and more specifically, freedom of the press. To this end, this resolution will authorize the United Nations to create the International Journalism Defense Fund, which will be managed by a council composed of signatory nations to the resolution with the express purpose of donating money and spending this money in the best way possible to incentivize freedom of the press in countries where journalism has become oppressed, with an emphasis on improving the accessibility of media to all citizens, so that way every citizen may have their voice. There will be a strict observation by the Council upon nations that are applying for aid, and if they do not comply with the requirements set by the Council and they do not show a marked improvement in freedom of the press, they will not continue to receive funding in order to limit the possibility of corruption. Upon request that there may be corruption, an independent investigation may be launched by the UN at any time, and the metric that we'll be using to determine the growth of the nations will be the annually published Reporters Without Borders Freedom of the Press Index.
So monetary incentives, like he said, will be given off of the annual index published by Reporters Without Borders, a nonprofit organization. Each year, they take an annual survey based off of factors such as lawsuits against journalists, crimes against journalists, and just overall freedom of the speech in a country. And they give them a ranking from a scale of 0 to 100, 0 closer to 0, the better their freedom of speech. Closer to 100, it means it's worse. And based off improvements on that scale, we would give out monetary incentives.
Thank you. And like I said before, all spending would be final at the discretion of the Council, but this is just a metric that we're going to be using to determine the magnitude of each nation's progress. Now, all the funding will be raised by the members on the Council, and nations who are applying for aid under this program will not have to donate any money to the UN. This will just be money that's collected by the Council of like-minded nations, which we believe will have enough incentive on their own to promote freedom of speech in other countries, to donate their own effort and money, and then nations who show a marked interest in wanting to improve.
We will now move into a 3-minute period of technical questions. Australia, Ireland, I can't read it, I'm so sorry. Azerbaijan, Germany, Bangladesh, France, Italy, Lebanon, Pakistan, Fiji, Kuwait, China, Turkey, Libya, Ethiopia, Estonia, Nepal, Mexico, Morocco, Mali. Begin.
Stuart Rowling, representing People's Republic of China. Is the Reporters Without Borders a non-profit organization?
Yes.
Thank you.
Destiny David, Haynes Academy, representing Australia. How will you deal with the lawsuits if a journalist under the UN's protection gets hurt and or killed in a country?
Journalists will not be under the UN's protection. We are simply incentivizing nations to protect journalists within their borders to ensure that news media outlets are unbiased.
Thank you.
Sophia Opal Mandeville High, representing Ethiopia. Will the authors please provide examples of, in Section 2, nations that show a marked improvement in freedom of the press?
Okay, for example, Estonia has a ranking of 14.31, which is a very good score within the top 10 of countries in the world. If a nation was, say, to increase from 70 to 50 on the scale within a period of several years, that would be a marked improvement because it shows that journalism is getting more and more free and less impacted by the government.
Megan Kerrigan, Lakeshore High School, representing the country of France. Will anyone who is not a signatory be able to join the council?
Yes, nations can apply to join the council at any time.
Okay, Amara, Haynes Academy, representing Libya. Where would the initial donations come from to pay for these, to pay the countries?
The initial donations will come from the inaugural council of the IJDF, which will be composed of signatory nations.
Reese Leonard, Jesuit High School, representing Azerbaijan. Will the monetary incentives be forced to be used in one area of a country?
Not one geographic area, but they'll all be forced to be put towards improving freedom of the press.
Thank you.
Dalton Major, Catholic High School, representing Kuwait. While this provides incentives for freedom of the press, what are the incentives for countries to actually join the committee?
The incentives for countries that join the committee will be to promote freedom of speech in other countries because they believe in the democratic process.
Thank you.
Sarah Kate Casey, Mandeville High, representing Italy. The resolution mentions an emphasis on the manufacturing of media distribution platforms. Is this taken into account of the Freedom of the Press Index?
No. That would be under accessibility.
Shreya Shamwala, St. Joseph's Academy, representing Lebanon. What will the taxes be applied on?
Nations that nations will be responsible for coming up with their own funds. So if a nation chooses to levy a tax with which to put the funds toward this program, that is totally up to their prerogative. The UN is not imposing any taxes.
Thank you.
What systems do you
I'm
have?
sorry, delegate, you did not state your name and delegation. Please sit down.
Sami Yamki, Jesuit High School, Republic of Turkey. Would this resolution imply the defense for hate-filled, bigoted, and violent press?
This resolution does not protect hate speech, racism, or anti-Semitism. All it does is promote news media outlets, such as, for example, like the New York Times, to be fair and unbiased.
Payne Lacey, Captain Sharif High School. I represent the Republic of Korea. Is there any reason besides a moral reason to join the IJ or your council?
No.
Okay.
I'm sorry, delegates, that is time for technical questions. We will now move into a 12-minute period of general debate on this resolution. First, seeking an oppositional speaker. Are there any such speakers on the floor? Japan.
Okay, we got this.
Japan. Would the author yield to a series of questions?
Yes.
Okay. Is this press index impacted by a government restricting journalists from releasing state secrets or any information that could impact the security of a state?
No.
No.
No? Okay. I yield the remainder of my time to Ethiopia.
Ethiopia, journalism and press polarize nations and can end in biased voters and petitions and revolts after certain elections. This is why our country feels it is necessary to suppress our press during election season and lessen the chance of these civil revolts. African countries such as our own already are plagued with civil uprisings, and this resolution will just continually perpetuate that. And we have to vote nay for this resolution. I yield my time to the chair.
Thank you. With that, we seek a propositional speaker on this resolution. Italy.
Cindy Tardy, Vanderbilt High. We stand in proposition of this resolution because any resolution that promotes freedom of the press should be recognized and promoted. It promotes the freedom of the press internationally without forcing these ideals onto any country that doesn't agree. And it'll encourage and assist governments that agree, and it'll help them with the monetary incentives. With that, we give my time.
Gabon, your placard is sideways. Ireland, Iran, Azerbaijan, Korea. You may begin.
Jason Enriquez, Mandible High, Cuba. How will this affect the Chinese artificial islands that are created as military bases on both sides of the South China Sea?
All of China's islands that have been created will be ceded to, will become international territory and no longer belong to China.
Michael Ingram, from Jesuit High School, representing Azerbaijan. Is there any overlapping with the 25-mile territory? And if so, who would have priority, or how would they decide who had priority to the resources?
There is no overlapping. It corresponds to the nation's borders and coastlines.
Maya Anderson, Mandible High, representing the country of Ethiopia. What sort of penalties will be placed upon countries that infringe upon trading?
The UN Council that goes in and inspects every year will be looking to make sure that there is, and if not, the UN will impose heavy sanctions on any nation not.
Jane Wallace, McKinley High, representing Gabon. You said set all naval borders to 25 miles away from the coast. Are there any borders already in place, and if so, what are they?
The 25-mile is the current international standard, so we're simply reverting to the international standard.
Thank you.
Jacob Rodriguez, Lakeshore High School, representing the country of Togo. In this said coalition, who will be the member nations, and will they have equal representation?
Taiwan or Chinese Taipei, China, Vietnam, Australia, the Philippines, Malaysia, primarily countries all in the South China Sea.
Thank you. Ian Glotfelty, Lakeshore High School, representing the Republic of Ireland. It says in Section 3 that willing third parties and the World Bank will fund the resolution. What would be the incentive for funding the resolution?
Economic prosperity.
Doesn't say that.
Sophia Opal, Mandible High, representing Ethiopia. Will the authors please provide some general examples of conflicts that have occurred in the South China Sea?
So over the past 40 years, essentially China and the Philippines and Vietnam have had disputing claims over islands and certain sea lanes and territories.
Payne Lacey, Captain Sharif High School. I represent the Republic of Korea. How will this resolution help with pirates that have no loyalty to a nation?
The council will deal with pirates as is international standard.
Okay.
Alex Eli, Mandible High, representing the United States of America. Will countries such as the United States be able to maintain a military presence in the ocean?
Yes, all nations that currently have a naval presence will be able to maintain it.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions at this time? Gabon. Your placard is backwards, but whatever you are. United Kingdom.
Matthew Gravwell, McKinley Senior High, representing Gabon. Are there concerns about pollution from oil platforms, specifically the recent BP oil leakage in the North China Sea?
Yes, that is why the coalition that will be created will also monitor the ecological health and enact policies to aid that.
Thank you.
Kyle Beadle, Baton Rouge High, representing United Kingdom. Who do you forecast will have a majority in the peacekeeping mission that you detail in Section 3 of your resolution?
That we have no projections for that, though in Security
Thank
Council
you,
we were
authors.
assured of U.S.
And with that, we will move into general debate on this resolution. Starting with an oppositional speaker. Are there any such speakers on the floor? Cuba.
Jason Enriquez, Mandible High, Cuba. Now, while the representatives of China may state that this is done to engender peace, China has not followed treaties, nor has it even followed UN treaties for the longest time. It has not recognized even giant things created by even even more respected and easier to enforce publications. But although it says that it will destroy all military bases that China currently has, this will only generally entail the bases that are discovered, that are already known about. China has an active reason to continue military hegemony in that region, and they will continue to do so by doing it by subverting this law and by using this as a cover-up for their operations. I yield my time to Nepal.
Or non-technical questions?
Yes.
Thank you. Are we to expect China to peacefully and willfully cede all territories within the South China Sea?
Yes.
And why?
Economic prosperity over military dominance.
Is there any precedent for this?
Yes.
What?
China in the past has given up territorial claims in order to protect economic prosperity, specifically in cases such as Hong Kong and Chinese Taipei.
Okay, does China recognize Taiwan or Chinese Taipei as an independent state?
Since 1997, Chinese Taipei and Hong Kong have been a part of China, and that agreement has been consented upon by both the governments of Chinese Taipei and Hong Kong.
Thank you. I yield my time to the chair.
Thank you. With that, I take a propositional speaker on this resolution. Iran.
Molina, Jesuit High School, representing Iran. Iran, as a major trading partner of the People's Republic of China, is in strong proposition of this resolution. We believe that any military de-escalation and any solution to this conflict will further the world's economy and further both of our nations' economic prosperity, as well as the prosperity of any country who trades with China. As China is a major exporter of a myriad of goods. However, the only hesitation we have with this agreement is that we believe that Section 4 must be enforced, that this resolution must be enforced or else it's useless. With that, I yield my time to Togo.
Rodriguez, Lakeshore High School, representing the country of Togo. Being a signatory and having debated this resolution prior, we believe and are in strong proposition with this resolution. We believe that this shows a changing China's character in a positive way, being that they are willing to give up their holds in the region to further economic prosperity for all the members of this said coalition and all participating members in this region. And with that, I yield my time to the chair.
Thank you. I now seek an oppositional speaker on this resolution. Are there any such speakers on the floor? Gabon.
Senior High. Representing Gabon. We are in opposition of this resolution due to the fact that it's simply too open-ended to have 25 miles of border for the country that controls it. China has recently been witnessed creating a man-made island in the South China Sea over the past couple of months and from the beginning of 2016. Now, this could create a new territory for them that would create over 50 square miles of territory for just themselves if we enact a 25-mile border in the South China Sea. I owe the remainder of my time to Cuba.
Cuba. Now, the Chinese representative's insistence that Taiwan is a part of China, the one China policy is still not agreed upon by all representatives of Taiwan. They keep asserting that Taiwan is a part of China for a specific reason. They are controlling areas of the South China Sea and supporting this resolution because they continue and they desire to subvert this resolution with covert bases that they say they will destroy most of them, and yet they ignore the fact that many of them are undiscovered and will continue to be in place because they know that the United States or other main regions that will be sending their ships there will not find them. They continue to use this area as a place to build military hegemony, and although they say that they desire economic prosperity in the region, they only desire personal interest. I yield my time to the chair.
Thank you. With that, I take a propositional speaker on this resolution. Lebanon.
I would just like to say that by making the South China Sea an international waterway, it would at least settle some dispute between surrounding countries, considering that they've been trying to claim the entire sea, or at least part of it for themselves. And I yield the remainder of my time to Vietnam.
As one of the 6 countries currently laying claim to the South China Sea, we would love to support this, but yet are hesitant and wary of Chinese intents. But we would like to support this because we believe it's a good way for us to use our trading ports, because we largely use South China Sea for trade and drilling of natural gases. And with that, I yield my time to the chair.
Thank you. The chair takes direct. Please bring the amendment forward.
I should say that. Yeah, you can say that. I was not aware of that. I felt like it was so passionate about the true intentions of the Chinese government.
This style, because
The 25-mile radius is off of mainland. It's not intended. The 25-mile radius is not intended for islands. It's 25-mile radius off of the.
You decide right now.
There's just. It's actually bad.
Under current delegates, the amendment has been deemed hostile. Therefore, we will have to move into a debate procedures on this amendment.
But then people are going to get all mad because they think that word gets hostile because it's taken.
So with that, the amendment author, please approach the podium to deliver their opening statements. You have 1 minute. You may begin when ready.
Jane Wallace, McKinley High, representing Gabon. There was some dispute over whether these man-made bases, whether that was a ploy for China to get more sea territory. So this amendment would only for man-made bases, it would replace the 25-mile radius for the border to a 5-mile radius. I yield my time to my closing statements.
Thank you. We will now move into a 2-minute period of technical questions. Are there any technical questions on this amendment? Fiji, Togo, Gabon.
Jacob Rodriguez, Lakeshore High School, representing the country of Togo. Would this mean that you are including these military bases in part of that country?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sophie Sheffield, McKinley High School, representing Gabon. Do you have any information about how much territory China would get?
No.
James Hitchcock, Mandible High, Fiji. Is it when?
I'm unsure.
Are there any other questions at this time? Seeing none, oh, excuse me, Vietnam.
Faith Wood, St. Joseph's Academy, representing Vietnam. Would man-made bases include places of drilling for oil and natural gas?
No.
Thank you.
That is time for technical questions. We will now move into a 4-minute period of debate on this amendment, starting with an oppositional speaker. France.
Alex Foster, country of France. This amendment to the resolution is a little bit pointless, seeing how the author stated that they would give up claims on all man-made islands. And all you're doing is reducing the 25 miles to 5 on an island that they don't even have a claim on anymore. So this resolution is pointless, and we hope you will vote no to this amendment.
Motion to previous question on the amendment or the resolution?
The amendment.
There's a motion to previous question on the amendment. For those who are unfamiliar, this means that we will leave debate and jump straight to the closing remarks of the amendment author and the resolution authors. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? This motion does carry. We will move into the 1-minute rebuttal by the resolution authors.
As previously stated and previously noted by other delegates, China is ceding all of these military bases. We feel that with the addition of this amendment, it puts China in a position that China does not want to be in. We don't want these islands anymore. We're willing to give them up. This resolution would make China keep those islands. Those islands should belong to the international community and not China.
China's access to free trade is currently being heavily limited by this conflict going on in the South China Sea. So they heavily stand to gain by giving up these bases to gain ability to trade freely and have international commerce within this sea. We yield our time to the chair.
Thank you. Amendment author, you will have 1 minute for your final remarks. Please begin and ready.
Jane Wallace, McKinley High, representing Gabon. I apologize to all delegates. I should have listened closer, and I apologize to the chair for wasting your time. I yield my time to the chair.
Thank you. With that, we'll move into a vote on this amendment. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? Nay. With that, the amendment does fail. We will now resume general debate on this resolution, seeking an oppositional speaker. Excuse me, a propositional speaker for general debate on this resolution, Kuwait. Undercurrent delegates.
Dalton Major, Catholic High School, representing Kuwait. In reference to what a previous delegate said about how China is only looking after themselves, China is the trading hub of the planet, and this resolution would not only help China to prosper and ensure the protection of China, it would also ensure the protection and the economic prosperity of every country in allegiance and that trades with China. China is not just looking out for themselves. They're in a time of political unrest in the South China Sea, and they're only trying. Yes, they are trying to look out for themselves, but they're also looking out for all of us. And with that, I yield my time to the Netherlands.
To rebut a previous delegate's point that we cannot trust China to follow this resolution, we believe that since China is a co-author of this resolution, that they will most likely follow the resolution. However, should China for some reason decide not to follow the resolution, we now have a basis of international law to which we could prosecute China for violating their conflicts in the South China Sea. So with that, we strongly support everybody to vote yay on this resolution. And with that, you might time to the chair.
Thank you. With that, I seek an oppositional speaker to this resolution. Are there any such speakers on the floor? Austria, whatever you are.
Shane Begg, Jesuit High School, representative of Austria. We believe that this is a step towards gaining peace, but we believe that these countries that would be in the coalition have a history of conflict with each other. And so, excuse me, sorry, I was eating something. They have a history of conflict, and so we believe that they would have a hard time keeping peace, and there would be much conflict between them in the coalition. And so I yield my time to the chair.
Thank you. With that, I seek a propositional speaker. I'm sorry, the amendment is not recognized. I seek a propositional speaker on this resolution. Iceland.
Cameron Anderson, Mandible High, representative of Iceland. Now, a lot of points have been brought up about the history of the countries involved in this resolution, and I don't believe that there's a single country here without spotty history or something they've done wrong that may point to them not be able to follow resolutions presented in the present day. But the fact that they're presenting one today and they want to work towards change, I think should be honored and trusted. And if not, like previous delegates have said, there is a way to prosecute them and ensure that peace continues in the South China Sea. So with that, I yield my time to Azerbaijan.
As the previous delegate stated, if China does not go through with this, we have a coalition to monitor them. And also we have the UN Free Trade Zone. And what this does is it's great because China's economy also affects all the world's economies. And therefore, if China's prosperous in this free trade zone, it also affects all our economies. Therefore, it's absolutely necessary that we pass this because it's better for all our economies.
Thank you. That is time. We'll now, with that, we'll move into the resolution author's closing remarks.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. For any delegates who have concerns about China's true intents, this is a very fair representation of how China is looking to check themselves in this stalemate. They are currently losing their ability to trade freely by all the turmoil in the South China Sea. So they are willing to give up significant land claims and man-made land bases in order to secure their main form of income for the entire nation.
And if any delegates are familiar with Chinese thinking, Chinese philosophy, China does not seek to be a military power. Confucius does not encourage the Chinese government to be militaristic. It encourages it instead to work with people in order to bring prosperity to other nations. I would also like to bring up this. Whenever you put people in a room that have conflicts with each other and you ask them to talk it out and sort it out with one another, they typically will. I've had my own personal experience with this. And in addition to this, the United Nations has done this for the past 70 years. Since the conclusion of World War II, the United Nations has worked with countries that have conflicts with one another to try and mitigate loss of human life. Yes, sometimes we have failed, but many, many times we have succeeded. And in the past 70 years, we have not fought a single global war. By pushing this by passing this resolution, we will be ensuring that another world war does not start in Asia, because we are putting those with conflicts in the same room. We are giving them the resources, the tools, and the incentives to work with one another to ensure peace and prosperity in the region for generations to come. This is a unique opportunity for the world to change, and for the future of our children and our grandchildren to be greater than the present day. Thank you. We yield our time to the chair.
Thank you. With that, we move into a 1-minute country caucus on this resolution. Begin.
Was it like a good defense?
Yeah, you're much more passionate. Like I'm not good at passion. I can line off facts and make a good argument, but I'm not like one of those ethos, like get the feels involved. I'm like get the logic involved. But logic doesn't motivate people to say.
Yeah. Dude, I have to say, you're like great though. I've like really enjoyed working with you.
Yeah, I've working with you too.
Are you applying to Canal?
Yeah. I've just really been in. Yeah. I gotta work on something like that. Like, I'm just a very logical. That makes sense. It doesn't make sense. Why would I vote for that? Not like I feel for the anecdotal evidence about that one person in Mexico. Like I don't usually like this. What?
I try to like merge logic and emotion.
Because emotion gets motivated. Logic is the ultimate decider.
You're already all passed out?
Common, let's all say.
Yeah, exactly.
I thought it meant cool, whatever, good.
You're gonna keep track?
Yeah.
I'm terrible at keeping
Under
track.
current delegates, that is time on our country caucus. We will now move into on a roll call vote on this resolution.
I got it.
Australia.
Yay.
Austria.
Abstain.
Azerbaijan.
Yay.
Bangladesh.
Yay.
Belgium.
Abstain.
Brazil.
Yay.
China.
Pass.
Cote d'Ivoire. Cuba.
Nay.
Czech Republic.
Yay.
Democratic People's Republic of Korea.
Yay.
Djibouti.
Yay.
Egypt.
Yay.
Estonia.
Yay.
Ethiopia.
Yay.
Fiji.
Yay.
France.
Yay.
Gabon.
Abstain.
Georgia.
Abstain.
Germany.
Yay.
Ghana.
Yay.
Haiti.
Yay.
Honduras.
Abstain.
Iceland.
Yay.
India.
Yay.
Iran.
Yay.
Ireland.
Yay.
Israel.
Yay.
Italy.
Yay.
Japan.
Yay.
Kiribati.
Yay.
Kuwait.
Pass.
Lebanon.
Yay.
Libya.
Yay.
Luxembourg.
Yay.
Mali.
Yay.
Mexico.
Abstain.
Morocco. Nauru.
Yay.
Nepal.
Yay.
Netherlands.
Yay.
New Zealand.
Yay.
Pakistan.
Yay.
Papua New Guinea.
Yay.
Peru.
Yay.
Poland.
Yay.
Qatar.
Abstain.
Republic of Korea.
Yay.
Russia.
Yay.
Rwanda.
Yay.
Saudi Arabia.
Yay.
Serbia.
Yay.
South Africa.
Yay.
South Sudan.
Yay.
Spain.
Yay.
Sudan.
Yay.
Switzerland.
Yay.
Syria.
Yay.
Togo.
Yay.
Turkey. Ukraine.
Abstain.
United Kingdom.
Yay.
USA.
Yay.
Uzbekistan.
Yay.
Vietnam.
Yay.
Yemen.
Abstain.
Colombia.
Yay.
China.
Yay.
And Kuwait.
Yay.
Is my sheet? Yeah, there it is.
By a vote of 54 to 1, this resolution is passed.
Oh yeah.
Will the resolution we have a section 5 right now, and then yeah. Delegates, we're going to go ahead and move straight into the fifth resolution on the docket. Will the authors of the fifth resolution please approach the podium? Also, I'd like to remind all of you that it is not the fifth resolution in your packet, but the fifth resolution on your little handout that we just passed out.
It's still doing this. That's fine. All right. So I think I'm just going to start off by saying this, then I'll say this.
Okay.
Then you can
Give my spiel.
go into your opening statement, and then if time allows, I'll say the.
Okay. And if not, we can answer. I'm sure we'll answer
We'll
questions.
have little. Yeah. We got it.
Chardy.
Okay. I'm mainly just talking about like funding and border security, basically.
Okay.
I didn't read this part. Oh, that's
Oh, it's just the definition.
Gotcha.
Ryan, you got us, right?
Do you talk about that as an opt-in program?
No.
Okay,
So
I
we
mentioned
could
that.
key in on that. I mean, I do say like non-signatory countries and signatory countries.
Undercurrent delegates, we're going to go ahead and get started on the fifth resolution. Will the clerk please read the fifth resolution by title only?
Deter arms trafficking.
With that, we'll move into the amendment author's opening statements. You can begin when ready.
All right, so we'd like to start off by defining what illegal arms trading is. The UN defines it as illegal arms trading, also known as arms trafficking or gun running, is the smuggling of contraband weapons or ammunition. Now, this resolution that we are presenting is a two-pronged attack focused on border security, the creation of a standard for border security, as well as the overall increase of punishments for those caught illegally smuggling weapons. Now, a council will be formed by the resolution's signatories and will convene to debate and vote on what the standard will be. In addition to that, the signatories must adopt this standard. If you are signing on, you are signing on to adopt the standard. That being said, you will be involved in creating it. Also, as for the enhanced penalization, an example of this may be an additional 5 years added to the sentence of the offender.
Now, this is strictly an opt-in program, and the funding for adding border security and the imprisonment of those caught smuggling weapons will be the responsibility of the countries. However, any weapons obtained from the illegal smugglers can and will be sold legally by the country to contribute to the funding. And any countries who wish to join but are deemed financially unable to or financially unstable will be granted UN peacekeepers as additional border control until funding is obtained. This resolution is to unite countries against weapons trafficking and to set a flat consequence for criminals of illegal weapons trafficking.
All right, and we're just going to go ahead and give a quick example. If there's an incident that occurs where a smuggler is caught attempting to traffic arms between a country that has signed on and a country that has not signed on, the UN shall determine in a case-by-case situation what country has jurisdiction over the smuggler. Again, vice versa, if they're going from a non-signatory country to a country that has signed on. With that, we yield our closing. Yeah.
Thank you. That is time. We will now move into a period of technical questions on the resolution. Korea, Egypt, Estonia, Ethiopia, Japan, Peru, Italy, Belgium, Georgia, Azerbaijan, Russia.
Turkey, that's a good question.
I think we clarified what we wanted to know.
Maya Anderson, Mandible High, representing the country of Ethiopia. What is the common sentencing that most countries have now instead of 5 years?
We do not have that information at this time.
Thank you.
Michael Ingram, Jesuit High School, representing Azerbaijan. Since the countries are responsible for holding offenders, is there a certain standard required?
Not necessarily, but we do highly encourage extra security. But if they are unable to obtain extra security, we will provide extra security.
Adam Muller, Mandible High, Estonia. Will countries be able to enter or leave the program at any time?
Absolutely.
Christina Mack, St. Joseph's Academy, representing Georgia. If this is strictly opt-in, what is the incentive for countries to join if they are benefiting from weapons trafficking?
The benefit for those trafficking weapons as a source of income would be to earn an honest income.
Jake Wood, St. Joseph's Academy, representing Egypt. Will the minimum sentence only apply to countries who are members of the council?
Yes.
Dalen Daniel from U High, representing Belgium. How will you monitor the resale of confiscated weaponry?
Well, their delegates, we will have the delegates on the council of each country monitor that.
Morgan Ross, LSU Lab School, representing Japan. What measures would be taken if the illegals of atomic and nuclear weapons would be found to be smuggled by these illegal weapons traders?
The punishment for it's the same situation as if it were punishment for small arms.
Thank you. With that, time for questions on this resolution has elapsed. I'm so sorry. We will now move into general debate on this resolution, seeking an oppositional speaker. Are there any such speakers on the floor? Preferably someone who has not spoken yet in this plenary session. I can't read your placard, but you in the pink shirt.
India.
Captain Shreve, representing India. I'd like to first off say that I'm in strong opposition of this resolution, simply because how many times have we seen councils and commercials and just basically promoting the use of the gun trading and trafficking and everything? I mean, let me ask you this. Let's compare it to drug trade and how no matter what we do, it still goes on. Let's say the dark web. It goes on underneath everything. People have been trying to stop it for years. What makes a little funding and what makes a little bit of promoting don't trade guns different from everyone else's campaign for it? Thank you. I yield my time to Iran.
This isn't a promotion. Ethan Earhart, Jesuit High School, representing Iran. This proposition, while we do applaud the author's intent with this, it poses two problems, especially for developing countries such as Iran, which have a serious problems with weapon trafficking. The mandatory minimum sentence of 5 years would probably put undue stress on prison systems because it costs a lot of money for prisons to keep people locked up for an extended period of time. And so for countries that aren't able to support this, it would overstress their prison systems and their funding for that, while also
I'm sorry, delegate.
Okay, I think
that is
that's it.
time. I now seek to recognize a propositional speaker on this resolution, Egypt.
Hey, Turkey's on our side.
Egypt has an extremely prevalent weapons trafficking problem. In fact, our government was so eager to reclaim contraband weapons that they offered impunity to anyone who turned in an unlicensed weapon. We believe this resolution is an excellent opportunity for countries who want to regulate weapons trafficking but don't have the resources to do so on their own. Although we are a bit wary of the United Nations setting a precedent of setting minimum sentences for crimes, we still support this resolution nonetheless. And as to address a previous delegate's concern that prisons would not be able to keep up with the cost of setting a minimum sentence, I would like to remind this session that the lives that are saved by regulating these weapons are worth far more than a prison paying for any sort of minimum sentence. And with that, I yield my time to Turkey.
Yesterday, when I heard this resolution, I was hesitant to support it because I immediately thought of Russia giving weapons to the Syrian government to drop on civilians in Aleppo, et cetera. But then it was clarified to me that this is not between governments. This is between individual weapons traffickers. And in my country, Turkey, this is a very prevalent problem. And anything done to lessen this trade, I think, is a very positive aspect. And as to prison sentences, as was said by another delegate, it's worth it. It's worth the expense if you're going to save your own country's citizens' lives. With that, I yield my time to the chair.
Thank you. I now seek, I'm sorry, amendments are not recognized at this time. I now seek an oppositional speaker. Korea.
The author hold to questions, technical questions?
Yes.
As a delegate was trying to state, how will you handle nuclear weapons being traded?
All right. This is the same situation as, well, it depends upon the countries that are signed, whether or not they're signed on. Now, if 2 countries are signed on, then the trafficking will be left up to the country of origin's government to decide the punishment. The situation where it's left up to the UN Council is only emerges when there is a situation where it's between a country that has signed on and one that hasn't.
I would like to speak that there's a very big issue with this. The reason why I say that this is a nuclear power, there's a difference between a gun and a bomb that can destroy the world. Having this handle it is not the same as having the whole United Nations handle it. This is a serious issue. We are trying to prevent war, and having ISIS get one of these weapons can create a big issue. And we're trying to stop things like this. I think reselling a nuclear warhead is completely the wrong idea. And I yield my time to South Africa.
Point of information is heard and not recognized.
Emily Clark, C. Bird, South Africa. Will the author yield to a series of questions? Yes.
Yes.
Will there be any coalition between, or any idea sharing between the representatives from each country that opts in?
Could you restate the last part of that?
Will there be any idea sharing between the representatives of the countries that opt into this?
I'm sorry, that is time.
Yes.
I now seek a propositional speaker, Estonia.
Alan Muller, Randall High, Estonia. Now, I would like to begin by addressing the concerns of a previous delegate who said that issues like drug trafficking, just because certain countries have enacted programs that strongly oppose drug trafficking and is not proven effective. While I agree with your concern, I would like to point out that just because something is difficult does not mean that we should stop pursuing what is morally right. Now, to the resolution. Estonia is in strong proposition to this resolution because we believe that is the best way to try and prevent the reprehensible threat that illegal arms trading poses to the fundamental human rights to life and safety of citizens everywhere. We also believe that this resolution poses the greatest respect to each country's individual right to make their own laws regarding gun control and whether or not their citizens have weapons and their own penal codes, by saying that you don't have to opt into this program. And even if you do, countries that have weak gun control can still have weak gun control. Countries that want strong gun control and don't want their citizens to have firearms can still have strong gun control. This is just saying that if you're caught trying to smuggle weapons illegally between the borders of nations, and one of those nations is a signatory, you'll be subjected to this mandatory minimum sentence. And as such, will be less likely and will be more likely to be deterred from doing the crime, which is the whole point of the resolution, which is to reduce weapons trafficking.
I'm sorry, delegate, that is time.
I yield my time to the chair.
Final oppositional speaker on this resolution, Uzbekistan.
Savannah Cutliff, Mandeville High, representing the country of Uzbekistan. Now, in Section 1 of this resolution, it says illegal arms trade represents an undue threat to safety and basic rights of innocent people around the world, when this is in fact false. The Uzbekistani government, along with others such as Afghanistan, Pakistan, Latin America, Morocco, and Djibouti, prosper from illegal trade of arms. Weapons trafficking greatly increases the amount of government trust in our country by allowing citizens to feel safe in their own homes. And though this is an opt-in program, this does indirectly affect us because of the countries we border. And we do not support a resolution where a council could possibly decide what happens to our citizens by their own laws. Thank you. I yield my time to Cuba.
It can be assumed that the illegal arms trade benefits Cuba's economy to the utmost extent, because ridding the market of this arms trade would essentially ruin Cuba financially, because our government takes advantage of the lack of regulation and it uses it to our advantage, and we don't publicize it because it is illegal, but it does give us the money that we need, and this would just ruin us financially. And
I'm sorry, delegate, that is time. And then it's also time for general debate on this resolution. I appreciate all of your passion. Motion to extend debate is heard and not recognized. We will now move into the author's closing statements. You may begin when ready.
Okay, Janister. Okay. We are not trying to fix the world overnight. This is simply a minimum. We are simply trying to set a minimum precedent over illegal weapons trafficking for those who join. And for those who are concerned about revenue from illegal weapons trafficking, we cannot and will not support countries who encourage the illegal trafficking of weapons.
All right. Another point that I'd like to address, building on that one, is that this will create jobs within the country that is most likely going to need the security. Now, if that isn't promoting honest trade, I don't know what will. Also, this isn't a promotion of the crackdown on illegal arms trafficking. This is a crackdown on the illegal trade of arms. Also, the 5 years thing was just an example. The council will agree upon a punishment, a standard punishment.
And we are also not trying to infringe upon the rights of the countries or the individual citizens. This is strictly border control. That is all we are trying to focus on right now. And if countries have less strict laws in regards to weapons or stricter laws, those will still be viable. It'll just be up to the individual countries on what they consider legal.
Also, I'd like to point out that the idea of a country's government selling a nuclear arm capable of destroying the earth to a terrorist group is far-fetched at best.
And especially any weapons that are deemed this hazardous to humanity or to the country itself will not be resold. I can promise you we will not be selling nuclear weapons.
That is time. With that, we will move into the country caucus on this resolution. Begin.
I love how they think we're going to sell nuclear weapons to citizens. That is my favorite part.
They know. No, it's going to happen.
Promise. I hope it passes.
Let's go.
Thank you.
If it fails, it's my fault. It's because of a comment I made about how the idea of selling nuclear arms to a terrorist group.
No, if it fails because of that, I will be in full support. I'll be right there by you. That was ridiculous. I love that.
Then again, he's Korean.
There was another girl who said something.
Wait, he's South Korea. What?
There was another girl who was like, well, we get like lots of money from it. I'm like, and you're part of that?
I'm sorry, delegates, that is the end of the country caucus. We will now move into a roll call vote. Beginning with Australia.
Yay.
Austria.
Yay.
Azerbaijan.
Yay.
Bangladesh.
Yay.
Belgium.
Yay.
Brazil.
Yay.
China.
Nay.
Cote d'Ivoire.
Abstain.
Cuba.
Nay.
Czech Republic.
Yay.
Democratic People's Republic of Korea.
Nay.
Djibouti.
Yay.
Egypt.
Yay.
Estonia.
Yay.
Ethiopia.
Nay.
Fiji.
Yay.
France.
Nay.
Gabon.
Yay.
Georgia.
Nay.
Germany.
Nay.
Ghana.
Abstain.
Haiti.
Nay.
Honduras.
Abstain.
Iceland.
Abstain.
India.
Nay.
Ireland.
Nay.
Iran.
No.
Israel.
Nay.
Italy.
Yay.
Japan.
Yay.
Kiribati.
Yay.
Kuwait.
Abstain.
Lebanon.
Yay.
Libya.
Abstain.
Luxembourg.
Yay.
Mali.
Yay.
Mexico.
Nay.
Morocco.
Nay.
Nauru.
Abstain.
Nepal.
Yay.
Netherlands.
Yay.
New Zealand.
Yay.
Pakistan.
Yay.
Papua New Guinea.
Abstain.
Peru.
Yay.
Poland.
Yay.
Qatar.
Nay.
Republic of Korea.
Yay.
Russia.
Yay.
Rwanda.
Abstain.
Saudi Arabia.
Nay.
Serbia.
Abstain.
South Africa.
Yay.
South Sudan.
Abstain.
Spain.
Abstain.
Sudan.
Abstain.
Switzerland.
Abstain.
Syria.
Yay.
Togo.
Nay.
Turkey.
Yay.
Ukraine.
Nay.
United Kingdom.
Abstain.
USA.
Yay.
Uzbekistan.
Nay.
Vietnam.
Nay.
Yemen.
Abstain.
Colombia.
Yay.
Oh my God.
Oh. By a vote of 25 to 26, this resolution does fail.
Wait, what? Wait, I thought. Wait.
We do not have time. I'm so sorry.
We can. But we had gotten a different answer.
I'm sorry, the clerk's count is official.
All my fault.
Y'all were great.
16 abstention.
Under current delegates, if the authors of the sixth resolution would please approach the podium. Motion to revote is not heard. Granted. 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 Yeah, we have to make
We say our name and stuff first and then start speaking.
They're coming up.
We say our name and stuff first and then start speaking.
Yes. Okay.
We're going to practice.
Under current delegate, please take your seats. With that, we will move into debate on the resolution. Will the clerk please read the resolution by title only?
To alleviate water leakage through repairing damaged systems and aiding developing countries expand their water and sanitation services.
Thank you. Authors, you may move into your closing. Wow, words. Authors, please move into your opening statements.
Kate Landry from Episcopal High School representing Spain.
Rosemary Boutwell from Episcopal High School representing the country of Spain.
Hola, delegados. Our resolution moves to attack the problem of water scarcity in two parts. The first part being to call upon countries to renovate deteriorating areas of their water supply system. So this is where there are leaks or failing parts of the system to bring water to their people. And the second part is to expand a program that Spain has already been participating in that's brings a fund to give to developing nations to help them establish water programs and to prop up their sanitation systems. And this will be funded by the World Bank and willing parties. And the only penalty for not opting in is retraction of funding.
Something to keep in mind is that a lot of water in countries, a lot of fresh water is lost before it even reaches to consumers. So what this resolution will do will help get more water to more people. And this is also a huge economic burden as well. As you can see, the World Bank estimates the loss of drinking water due to leakage is approaching 14 billion annually. And even the most developed countries and cities are faced with over 20% to 30% drinking water leakage. So I yield my remaining time to the chair. To our closing statement.
Thank you. With that, we'll move into technical questions on this resolution. Egypt, Netherlands, Ethiopia, Pakistan, Sudan, Ukraine, Bangladesh, Azerbaijan, and America. Begin.
Maya Anderson, Mandible High, representing the country of Ethiopia. What motivation does the World Bank have for funding this resolution?
To increase the amount of water that everybody gets, because water is vital to life, so it'd be helping the world as a whole.
Thank you.
Laura Nicholson, St. Joseph's Academy, representing Bangladesh. Is this simply a call to action for other countries?
It is a call to action to fix it, and with the World Bank and other organizations funding it, it actually gives them the means in which to improve their systems and help developing countries establish systems.
Caleb McKay, Mandeville High, Ethiopia. Did the authors have a specific plan to help developing countries develop systems?
Yes, Spain already has a fund dedicated to Latin American countries, developing Latin American countries. And what we want to do is expand upon this fund in order to help get more water to more people, help aid their leakage systems, and help aid their sanitation service as well. So not only is this a program to help with the water supply system leakage, it's also a program to help aid sanitation services as well.
Michael Ingram, Jesuit High School, representing Azerbaijan. Will this resolution penalize countries, namely in northern Asia, north of Azerbaijan, to stop polluting the country's only source of drinking water?
No, this is solely an opt-in program, and this only addresses leakage and sanitation services to developing countries and
developed
countries.
Akib Zakaria, Jesuit High School representing Pakistan. Would the World Bank also fund the upkeep of these leakage pipes? Like not just the initial repair, but also general upkeep?
I think we will have to address that like when the time comes, because right now the intent is just to fix water systems and to help other nations create the water systems.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, delegates, that is time for technical questions. We will now move into a period of general debate on this resolution, seeking an oppositional speaker. Are there any such speakers on the floor? United States.
High School representing the USA. Will the authors yield to a series of technical questions?
Yes.
First, can you elaborate on how precisely Spain has assisted developing countries with their water systems?
We've created a fund for Latin American countries, and what that fund does is it aids Latin American countries in their sanitation services, and it also helps give them the funds they need to repair their leakage systems and their general water supply systems. Because we're not talking about little leakages here. We're talking about huge gaps in water supply systems that is a huge economic burden, and we lose so much water already.
How successful has these programs been?
It's actually been very successful in a lot of countries where we've implemented this fund. Their water leakage has decreased.
How expensive is it to renovate these deteriorated water systems?
It depends on the amount of distress that the water systems are in.
How has Spain specifically helped countries that don't have water systems particularly available, and how do you want to help developing countries who do not have established technologies?
The fund doesn't only help with leakage and water supply system, it also helps with sanitation services as well. So what Spain's fund doing is getting those countries the aid they need to get water to their citizens.
Okay, and then what is the incentive for third parties in the World Bank to fund these renovations?
To get water to people, because everybody needs water.
Do you have any ideas of how much this will cost?
It's going to be dependent on the countries and the different problems that come with each country.
I'm sorry, that is time. We now seek a propositional speaker on this resolution. Cote d'Ivoire.
Adrian Manitoba High, Ivory Coast. The Ivory Coast is in strong proposition to this resolution because 43% of our population lacks appropriate sanitation, and over 4 million of our people still use unsafe drinking water sources. And 15% of our children that die every year from diseases that can be prevented by clean water. This resolution will greatly affect my country in a positive way, helping my citizens gain access to proper drinking water and sanitation. So I urge you to vote in proposition of this resolution to help save money, to save many people across the globe and in my country. I yield my time to Djibouti.
Hartwell Tickner, Mandeville High, Djibouti. Djibouti has a serious water scarcity problem. About 35% of our rural population still doesn't have access to a viable source of clean water. And to make matters worse, we've been experiencing a drought for the past 9 years, so we don't really have water we can afford to lose on water leakage. So we're strongly in proposition of this resolution. I yield my time to the chair.
Thank you. With that, I seek an oppositional speaker on this resolution. Austria.
Peyton Lofton, Jesuit High School representing Austria.
Will the author yield to a series of questions?
Yes.
Considering that you're planning to take money from the World Bank and they are a bank, not a charity, how do you plan to return the money that you take?
Okay, so countries lose a lot of money from water leakage. So in repairing their systems, they will stop losing that money and they'll be able to use the money that they are saving from water leakage to gradually pay back the World Bank over time at whatever time is convenient for the country.
And with that, I yield my time to Peru.
While the author's intent of
this bill does have some.
Sorry, delegate. This is a weird debating resolutions, not bills. With that, I seek a propositional speaker on this resolution. Morocco.
Alexander Manitoba by Morocco,
80 countries in the expansion of their water and sanitation services is a huge progressive step towards solving the pressing issue of water scarcity and water quality. Morocco's groundwater reserves are severely depleted and its sanitation systems are often inefficient, promoting the spread of disease throughout the country. This resolution is vital to the multitude of impoverished and underdeveloped countries that struggle with the pressing issue of scarce water supply. I yield my time to Cuba.
Everyone Cuba is a proposition of a resolution. So our although Cuba does pretty much have a very clean water supply, there are some areas in which Cuba does have some scarcity. Citizens do have to sometimes make their own filters to filter out the water. But we do believe that this, especially for landlocked countries with very, very limited water resources, will benefit from this resolution. And also, Cuba can also possibly gain some economic benefits if we do ship these water supplies to other landlocked countries. But seeing that shipping water is also highly ineffective, and this bill doesn't exactly endorse that, I also applaud the authors for that because it is highly ineffective. And with that, I yield my time to the chair.
Thank you. With that, I seek an oppositional speaker on this resolution, preferably one who has not spoken yet in this plenary session. The Netherlands.
Right Lakeshore High School, representing the Netherlands. We stand in strong opposition of this because we are very wary about the funding. It's very sketchy considering the fact that they really don't have a clue how much this is really going to cost or how much money they're going to need from other third parties or the World Bank. And with that, I yield my time to Ethiopia.
Ethiopia was against this resolution in council and we remain against it now. This goes to assume that these countries have the infrastructure to fix when in fact many are poor, vastly rural agrarian countries without such infrastructure. We applaud the author's intent, but we still don't believe that this should be the initial step as it assumes a conclusion that in fact is non-existent in many of these developing water-stressed countries. We rather support finding a way to provide infrastructure at the root or the source. And also, referring to Section 4, if this is an opt-in program, why is there a penalty that would retract funding? Wouldn't that create even more of an issue and require even more money to spend to fix it? And I yield my time.
Thank you. With that, I seek a propositional speaker on this resolution, one who has not spoken yet in this General Assembly session. Belgium.
Daniel. Hi, representing Belgium. Will authors yield to a series of technical questions?
Yes.
A previous delegate said that the World Bank is not a charity, and how will these countries who have received aid, who helped, who their pipes have been fixed and stuff, how will they pay this money back to the World Bank if they're really, really poor?
So with fixing their pipes and whatnot, they will be able to get money back from the money that they were losing, and they're going to use that money to repay the World Bank every time.
This is also funded by willing third parties as well, so
yes,
keep that in mind.
With that, I yield the remainder of my time to Israel.
Kennedy and Dara Haynes Academy, the country of Israel. We believe that this is an innovative and cooperative solution that addresses the underlying problems of waste and sanitation. And guys, how can we put a price on a fundamental human right that is the access to water? This is a case-by-case basis because each country is different in how much water they have. We must spend the money. We must spend the money on this because this is a fundamental right. I yield my time to the chair.
Thank you. And with that, general debate on this resolution has elapsed. I'm so sorry, y'all, but I really love your enthusiasm. With that, we move into the amendment. Motion to expend debate is heard and not recognized, y'all. I'm so sorry. This session has to end in 5 minutes. With that, we move into the resolution author's closing remarks.
As previous delegates have stated, they've been concerned that developed countries, because they don't have the infrastructure, that this will not be a good solution for them. This is actually a win-win scenario. Not only are we trying to fix the leaks and fix water supply systems, we're also aiding countries in their sanitation services as well. And I think that's a thing that's been overlooked. Also, many systems and countries are severely outdated, dating back to even the 19th century. So if these systems are not upkept and if they're not repaired immediately or soon, it's going to cause an international crisis because
like the people cannot get water or safe water to drink. And also the portion of the resolution that helps developing countries, helps them fix problems in their lacking systems, and it helps them create new systems and get those on their feet. And this is definitely a win-win because developed nations that have water systems in place get to fix them and make sure they are effective for the community, and the nations that need help getting water to their people are being provided for, and the nations in between that have the systems but they're not effective or they're unsafe get helped as well. And it economically helps countries because the countries that are losing billions of dollars to water leakage get that money back. And water is essential to life and all people need water. So I urge everyone to vote yay to help the people of the world get water. And with that, we yield our time to the chair.
Thank you. With that, we move into country caucus on this resolution. Begin.
No, you're good. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, because if we don't fix it, it's gonna
Granted, but you okay. Undercurrent delegates. And with that, we will move into our final roll call vote. Australia. Austria. Azerbaijan. Bangladesh.
Nay.
Belgium.
Nay.
Brazil.
Yay.
China.
Yay.
Cote d'Ivoire.
Yay.
Cuba.
Yay.
Czech Republic.
Abstain.
Democratic People's Republic of Korea.
Abstain.
Djibouti.
Yay.
Egypt.
Yay.
Estonia.
Yay.
Ethiopia.
Nay.
Fiji.
Yay.
France.
Yay.
Gabon.
Yay.
Georgia.
Nay.
Germany.
Yay.
Ghana.
Pass.
Haiti. What was that, Haiti?
Yay.
Thank you. Honduras.
Yay.
Iceland.
Yay.
India.
Abstain.
Iran. Ireland.
Yay.
Israel.
Yay.
Italy.
Yay.
Japan.
Yay. Nay.
Kuwait.
Yay.
Lebanon.
Yay.
Libya.
Nay.
Luxembourg.
Yay.
Mali. Mexico.
Nay.
Morocco.
Yay.
Nauru.
Yay.
Nepal.
Yay.
Netherlands.
Yay.
New Zealand.
Yay.
Pakistan.
Yay.
Papua New Guinea.
Yay.
Peru.
Yay.
Poland.
Yay.
Qatar.
Yay.
Republic of Korea.
Yay.
Russia.
Yay.
Rwanda.
Yay.
Saudi Arabia. Serbia.
Yay.
South Africa.
Yay.
South Sudan.
Yay.
Spain.
Yay.
Sudan.
Yay.
Switzerland.
Nay.
Syria.
Yay.
Togo.
Yay.
Turkey.
Yay.
Ukraine.
Nay.
United Kingdom. What? Thank you. USA.
Nay.
Uzbekistan.
Yay.
Vietnam.
Yay.
Yemen.
Abstain.
Colombia.
Yay.
I'm sorry I missed you. Ghana?
Yay.
By a vote of 37 to 21, this resolution does pass. will recess to gather your belongings and place them in your advisor's room or vehicle, pending your school's decision. We will meet back here at 11:15 for the closing session. Again, I thank you for your debate. Wait, you're not free yet.
Whoa.
Hey now. That's not how this works.
Whoa.
I will now entertain a motion to adjourn. Ethiopia.
Motion to adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Nay.
This general session does stand adjourned. Heard and not recognized.